Good morning. It's time for us to talk sports here in the locker room 981 on Smooth 98.1. I'm Ayo Myresi.
And I'm Valentine, who just excited that Tega and Brutalistics are here.
Yay! Hello,
Wow.
Brutalistics.
Good morning.
See how they greet our excitement.
This
Wow.
excitement is
Thank you.
suspect.
Why do I have a dysfunctional equipment?
Really, Tega?
Good morning, Lagos.
Please join the conversation by sending us messages on WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. That is the number. WhatsApp messages go to 0809-444-0981. On Twitter, we're at Smooth981FM. The hashtag is LockerRoom981. And we're streaming live on YouTube.
Streaming live on YouTube. Okay, so I'm laughing because our first story here is very juicy. So on Samson Siasia, the Nigeria Football Federation expresses shock over life ban, vow to help overturn it. So the NFF said on Monday that they were shocked by a life ban on former national coach Samson Siasia by FIFA for bribery, vowing to overturn it. Acting NFF President Seyi Akinwumi said in a statement that the FIFA report had been given to the body's lawyers to study and provide legal advice to the federation. He said, now adding that Siasia gave his all for Nigeria. The NFF was shocked to learn of the investigation and subsequent decision by the FIFA Ethics Committee, placing a life ban on Mr. Samson Siasia, said the statement. He's a football legend, but most importantly, he is Nigerian.
Okay. I don't know what his legendary status has to do with this. But apparently, I think the shock for me would be that the NFF did not know that he was being looked at. That was for me no class. At least you would, because so they're looking at a Pedro. He's a totally different kettle of fish. He's the guy that fixes matches. He's been fixing matches for over a decade. He was eventually caught. He decided to squeal. So that was what they're looking for. That's who they were looking at. Now, if they had mentioned, so in his investigation, he now mentioned the people that he fixed matches for, and he happened to fix matches for Nigeria. At the time that Samson Siasia was the coach. So I think, if you ask me, at the end of the day, you have to tell the country's body that this guy was, I don't want to say fingered. This guy was pointed at. This guy was pointed at when the investigation started, that his name has come up several times or his name has come up even at all as somebody, as a person of interest in this investigation. So tell the body. But there was a total blackout, and then the hammer came down. So I'm guessing for maybe that's why Seyi Akinwumi is speaking on behalf of this. The NFF had no idea. They were completely blindsided. It's one thing to say, oh, we are looking into you, we are investigating you. It's another thing to not have anything, then come up and say, well, we caught Brutalistics for stealing Indomie, and he mentioned Tega's name, and then you take me to jail.
By the way, just
Thank you. Thank you.
You haven't seen it before?
No.
Okay, I'm just saying. That's analogy. Me, I wasn't even there in the analogy. so just imagine that he stole, and then you now come and say,
don't imagine. Just think of another person, please.
Now, wow, see the way you just abandoned
telling
me.
you, because that's
Abandon. You're accusing me of theft, and I'm about
This
it.
life is tough.
Yes.
I'm analogy, no need.
Tega, I take exception to that. He's a veteran in Nigeria, and
Yes.
most importantly, he's Nigerian.
Okay, yes.
So you can't
Yeah, so that's I think that's the only place I have a problem in, that you caught one person, you're investigating the person, and the person was spilling out details, and then he indicted somebody else, and the other person didn't even know that anything was good. So in that way, I don't think that the investigation was right. But if he was truly involved, and the guy gave him the guy has documents to prove that he fixed the matches. In fact, regardless of what it is, I still think you should have told them. But Samson said this is a tough one for us. He's been having a few rough months with his mother being kidnapped and now him getting this life ban. And I don't know that he has done any other thing but football.
It's gonna be easy.
Yeah, and then to add to the
It's
fact
scary
that this
though.
is not, unfortunately, this is not the first time his name has come up
Yeah.
within the realms of allegations of not just this issue of match fixing. There've been rumors that he's been taking bribes to get players into certain teams and things like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Nigerian football, this is just phase one of the bad news.
Mm.
There is another issue that has come up about an allegation of having fixed a certain World Cup qualifying match involving Nigeria and I think it was Kenya. That's just been unearthed as well. There was an interview on I think one of
I
these
think they got
cable newspapers.
Salisu for that one.
Yeah.
So
There's a documentary on Al Jazeera where there are papers that have been signed, documents with names of Nigerian football officials from that period. So that's the next phase that we're probably going to come
okay,
to.
so here it is.
Mm.
There's match fixing everywhere. Surprise, surprise. Including some of the people that are handing down
Yes.
these bans. But this is a case of is who they catch
Mhm.
that is only.
Yeah.
Speaking about Nigerian sports, how far the money that they haven't returned, they failed to return?
Which one?
They overpaid money.
We don't know anything about the money. There's no money.
Very-
Snake ate it if we
very,
can't find
very
it.
soon, very soon they will say I stole Indomie. Moving on.
Please. Let's focus. South Korea's Lee Dok-hee has become the first hearing impaired player to win a match in the main draw of the tournament on the ATP tour. The 21-year-old, who's ranked 212th in the world, beats Switzerland's Henry Laxonen 7-6, 6-1 at the Winston-Salem Open in North Carolina. And in a statement from Lee, he says, "People make fun of me for my disability. They told me I shouldn't be playing. I wanted to show everyone that I can do this." And then added, "My message for people who are hearing impaired is not to be discouraged. If you try hard, you can do anything."
Wow,
Fantastic.
very impressive that he can even he even started playing the game. But I've heard that he doesn't do sign language, he does lip reading. Amazing for me, amazing,
That's
because I don't know how you read my
Yes.
lips, especially for accents that are foreign to you, how you read what they're saying. That's another level of
That's brilliant.
impressive. So I think it's something when I saw the story, something I said we had to mention that hearing impaired. And so Andy Murray was talking about it, about how the sounds help your game,
Yes.
and how he not being able to hear these sounds is still playing the game and being able to qualify for major tournaments is another level. So when you hear a professional tennis player telling you that the sound is important, for me the sound is important because I can't watch silent tennis match.
First of all, when the ball is hit, I want to calculate the speed.
I want
right?
I want to hear every sound. I want to hear from when their sneakers squeak on the
Thank
court.
you very
I want
much.
to hear every sound.
I find that squeaking quite annoying.
No,
I want
like
to
the
hear
squeak,
all.
'cause squeak, it just makes you want to run.
Which is why I like the clay courts
It's-
surfaces.
Yeah.
There's more sliding than squeaking.
Okay.
So I like every sound, and Andy's telling you that even where the ball hits, you know exactly how hard you're hitting, if you're putting enough top
Top
spin.
spin.
He gives you indication of it. So for him to be able to play like that without hearing those sounds is quite massive. So yes, congratulations, Nito. We celebrate you
Even the
on
grunts
the locker
help.
room. No, the grunt doesn't.
I was going to
The
say
louder
that
the
the
grunt,
Especially
only
the
from
faster
that
the ball.
I
that-
was going to say that the only one, all these noises people are enjoying from tennis,
Yes.
the grunts and the
No, those are nice grunts. But you see, when you start hearing Victoria Azarenka
Serena
and
Williams.
You like the grunts.
Serena Williams' grunt is great.
Okay.
But Victoria Azarenka's and Maria Sharapova,
Mm.
that squeal
Mm.
at every hit,
It kind of sounds nice.
that's not nice. So there's nothing nice about it.
Decibel frightening shrieks.
Hey,
are not nice.
You're like, what is
Just
going on
hashtag
here?
just saying.
You're just hitting the ball now.
It's
You
the
know,
ball,
because
nothing else. It's the
there's
ball.
sometimes that Serena is playing and she gets to a particular point and she's frustrated, and then she hits maybe an ace. So when she yells like, "Come on!" That's a different grunt. The one that you are hitting, on every single ball.
Trust me, that's why some guys like me actually watch tennis.
No, some guys like you need
Let's
help.
move on to more.
Please, next story. This is
All
morning
right,
radio.
let's go on
Next
to the
story.
next. Pogba, let's go to football now. They don't make noise in football. The only
Let's
people
go.
you hear are the commentators. All right, Pogba sees penalty saved in draw. Now, Pogba saw a penalty saved as Manchester United were held to a 1-1 draw by Wolves on Monday Night Football. Anthony Martial scored for the second game in a row to put United ahead in the 27th minute. But Ruben Neves leveled with a brilliant curling strike from outside the box shortly after half time. Interesting match right there. I'm glad.
Look,
Manchester
literally,
United.
that equalizer is, I mean, goal contender for goal of the season already, and it's only how many games?
Yeah.
It was beautifully crafted, it was beautifully finished, and I guess to an extent you could see in the build up to that move some naivety in the defending on the set piece. Not surprising considering the amount of youth that you have in the team at the moment, but it goes with the territory. When you decide to invest in youth in that sort of way, you will have things like that. That said, I think that the performance is completely on form with the way Wolves have tended to play the teams in and around above them in the top 6, top 7. It's consistent with how hungry they are. That said, you get a sense that in the first half they paid Manchester United, in my opinion, a little too much respect. They allow them to dictate the pace, which is unlike Wolves. They tend to be in. But Manchester United had so much time on the ball, and you could see that in the build-up to that goal. The passing, the passes went almost unchallenged. Credit to Anthony Martial for an excellent finish. But when the Wolves decided to impose themselves in the second half, you could see the difference. Manchester United still had the odd opportunity, and then you had the penalty that came to Paul Pogba, and then the great debate about who should take it and whatnot that was on the pitch. Look, if you have, usually teams decide who is the number one penalty taker, and if that person is not on the pitch, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer decides that you guys sort it out on the pitch. He's been pilloried for that by certain people. Look, at the end of the day, we would not be having this conversation if the guy had scored it. But make no mistake, that goalkeeper saved that penalty. It wasn't that he missed it. He saved it. He went for that ball, and the ferocity with which he was hit.
Let me tell you what even upset me. The goal that Marshall even had to go and struggle with Pogba on a normal day for it would never happen on a normal day. But Pogba is now out of favor, in quotes, with Solskjaer. So there is that. Rashford is still in favor. Rashford is one of the young people that Solskjaer believes, expansive football. They are going to do this. They are going to do that. They're not going to do anything. They have played to, as far as I'm concerned. They're just there. But that kind of song that you're singing, positive to one, and you are a bit mixed about the other, that made Rashford to say, you know what, let me go for this. Let me struggle with Pogba, because on a normal day he has no business struggling with Pogba for that. Pogba may not be captain anymore, but he was captain at some point in time, and there is that leadership that you should respect. But before you see the bird dancing in the road, you know that somebody has started playing drum in the bush, and I think that's what led to that. So Solskjaer has to deal with that. Forget this nonsense he's saying about either one of them can take it. He has to sort it out now.
He has to sort it out.
And
All
we'll
right.
see how that plays out in the course of the season.
Thank you.
Because this is one game where perhaps people thought they should have won. When you now start having a couple of results where wins are not coming where you should, we'll now start seeing whether this unity starts unraveling.
Fantastic. Now, just one here. Siasia was not accused of collecting bribes specifically, but rather he was alleged to have agreed to collect bribe.
I was speaking about a totally different matter entirely.
Okay, so there, let me explain certain things today. He said he agreed for match fixing, but there's also he collects bribe from players to play. So yeah,
there are many aspects. All right. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we have some more stories for you here on the Locker Room 981. Welcome.
He didn't even collect bribe. He agreed to match fix. It's two different things.
No, this one was a separate story where some guy came out and said,
no, it's not
this guy
something.
collects.
It happens in the team.
Team.
And it's not only Siasia.
No.
Do not say that I said it, but that's what happens.
I did not steal Indomie. I do not like Indomie. So I don't even see any
Sorry,
reason why I
what's
would
that?
steal Indomie.
All right, guys, they're
that?
coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, after this ad, we're coming back.
We're still going to the racism story.
So can I still talk about how I don't steal Indomie?
Pardon?
No.
Can I still talk about how I don't steal Indomie?
That's
They
it.
haven't paid. They
You
haven't
have
paid.
your noodles. I don't steal noodles.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
noodles.
I don't steal noodles.
Yes.
And I don't.
steal
And
I
I,
heard you.
I do not like grunting.
Yeah, and Bao should be put in the same WhatsApp.
No, we're not. No.
All right, Mike Top, Studio is live. Okay, so we're dancing in the studio as we listen to some brilliant analysis on the latest sporting news in the locker room 981 here on Smooth Breakfast with Valentine.
And Ayo Myro essay.
Okay, so I want to tell you people something. My claim to fame. Yesterday,
Mhm.
I met some members of the Tigress football and basketball team. I was so excited.
Where?
They were coming to a hotel.
Mm.
I think they just arrived or something, so they're lodging there. And so I saw them with medals. I saw some women. I said, "Are you one of the Tigers?" I said, "Oh, thank you for what you need for us, because we need to make them feel like they're superstars.
Yes,
if
of
they will
course.
not pay their hotel bills, let them come and be heroes in our country."
Well, did you take a picture?
I kicked
Ayo,
myself 100 times.
Ayo.
Because I was in a hurry, so I
Yes.
wanted to run back. I was like, "Is it too late?" When you've missed an opportunity, I wanted to say, "Please, I need a picture as
That
proof."
would have been awkward.
But yeah, but yeah,
So right now, all we have to go is your
It's
word.
just a word, yeah.
very funny.
You understand?
Look, I'm just
It's
saying.
my point.
Just saying now.
It's the fact, huh?
Please. WhatsApp messages go to 0809 444 0981. I'm very glad you did.
Whatever.
England's women's manager, Phil Neville, said footballers should boycott social media to send a powerful message that abuse is not acceptable. Neville's comments come after Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba received racist abuse online, having missed the penalty in a side's 1-1 draw at Wolves on Monday. In a statement from Neville, it's quoted as saying, or he's quoted as saying, "We have to take drastic measures now as a football community. I've had it with my players on social media. The Premier League and the Championship have had it. I just wonder whether as a football community we come off social media because Twitter won't do anything about it. Instagram won't do anything about it. They send you an email reply saying they will investigate, but nothing happens. I've totally lost faith in whoever runs the social media department, so let's send a powerful message. Come off social media for 6 months. Let's see the effect it has on the social media companies."
I want to say something, but I don't know if it'll be racist. Okay, but I'm just going to say this is how white people think about racism. If he were a black man, he would know that boycotting social media doesn't end it. Racism is a societal problem.
There are over
Period.
50 billion people.
So what?
I saw the
so,
headline and I was
social
shaking my
yes,
head. I was like,
racism
what
is a
this?
societal problem. So whether you boycott social media or not, when you go to the supermarket, somebody will racially abuse you. You drive down the road, someone will racially abuse you. For you to say this thing means that you are totally cut off.
Removed.
You're a bubble dweller when it comes to
You
racism.
lost touch with
Yes.
reality.
So they need to stop this nonsense about boycotting stuff. First of all, they are totally ignorant of what this thing is. People are not going to be normal in real life and then be racist for only football. They are racist in football because they are racist in their communities.
Preach
It's
it.
that simple.
Mm.
So cutting off social media, if they're driving down the road and they see Paul Pogba, they are going to abuse him. So cutting off social media is not the problem. What social media is doing is just exposing it
And amplifying
and
what they're saying
amplifying
in
what
their
it
private
is,
circles.
and amplifying what the society is.
Mhm.
So cutting it off from social media is not it. That's number one. Number two, the reason why football will never cut off social media is the money they are making from it. The Lord, you see, when you abuse them are finished, Papa will send one tweet, that tweet, and you don't know how much they are paying him for it. So they will not cut off, whether you like it or you don't.
It's all about the money.
At the end of the day, they still get paid for it. So the problem is not social media, because even Twitter, some of those handles that sent messages, Twitter did delete some of those handles. There's not much they can do. Again.
Yeah.
They will delete and some people don't use their real names. So you can't hand the name over to the police. What is and Tom and Jerry?
Although further investigations can reveal the locations where these tweets are sent from, the IP addresses and data like that.
Yeah,
But I
but
see you staring at me, but,
But look,
I'm just saying.
for me, the racial abuse issue is unfortunate. It's
Yes.
unacceptable. But I think that there's a more fundamental, there's a fuel that ignites this sort of reaction, and that is the way certain players are portrayed when certain things happen. Look at the coverage, the analysis, the comments that we made about this issue around Pogba missing the penalty. Now, juxtapose that with the commentary when some other player of some other extraction would miss a penalty that is
media
English.
also has a hand in it.
The attitudes are different. And when you look at, I think there was a coverage of Raheem Sterling and one other fella who bought houses for their moms, right? No, not Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
But
It was Raheem
a
Sterling.
black,
Yeah.
So a white player and Raheem Sterling, they both bought houses for their parents, but the captioning, the way those stories were covered, were diametrically on opposite sides.
Let's not go
you
far.
know?
Let's use the Monday match.
So let's just that's
Use that Monday match.
No,
so
look at
Lukaku scores a goal, and they say, "Look, he's trying to prove that he's a footballer." Then Marshall scored the goal. What a wonderful footballer! What a great goal! So even within black and black players,
Yes.
there's different.
Yes. No, but we know racism is institutionalized
Yes,
in the UK. So, and well, in the US, in the Western world, so everywhere you go to. So it's saying
It's
that
a societal
it's a
thing.
society problem.
So you can't. It's not getting off. So it's not cutting off or boycotting social media.
Yes.
It's addressing it.
Addressing
And the
it,
reason
yeah.
why it affects some players now. You see the likes of Harry Maguire come to talk about it because it has affected them, their teammates when they were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before they'd be like,
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
You
just
know,
a joke.
just
You know,
just
don't,
It means
don't-
nothing.
Yeah.
Don't take it too
people
seriously.
say no. People say these things because they are hurt. They're
Hurt.
not really racist.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
No, aha moment on
Yes.
Twitter anymore. Emma from Akoka says when he plays well, he's Pogba. When he doesn't find his mojo, he's Pog Black. Racism has no place in sports. The English FA should do more than churning out sound bites.
And Taya says it's confirmed. Tega is the best sport analyst I've ever heard. I swear I'm female, never had interest in sport till I met you, Tega. You make it super fun. Kudos, girl. And I love your collabo with Brutalistic.
We too love
Oh,
that.
thank
I
you.
love it.
I love emojis there. Biggie from Ketsu says, if that disabled tennis star was to play in Nigeria, or were to play for Nigeria, the government will say it's juju on the table. The world of sports is changing. If women could be referees for the Super Cup, well, there'd be no issue. I'm so ashamed of this country. I watched where one of the players was calling our president, saying Buhari should pay us. Not even the president. Thank you very much.
Hashtag pay the tigress. Yes, I met them yesterday,
you,
so
Biggie.
hashtag pay them.
Oh, God.
No picture to show.
No picture, no evidence. So
It's
just
just
be
your
making
word.
allegation. We'll sue you now.
No, if she talks too much, now I'll go to the website. Chimobi Victor from Malaba International says, I just want to appreciate you all for making my day. Take care. I always enjoy the analysis. Just keep it up. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
All right, let's go on to Juventus. As Juventus boss Maurizio Sarri, is diagnosed with pneumonia.
I like how your
Juventus
voice
head
drops.
coach Maurizio Sarri is being treated for pneumonia. The former Chelsea boss did not take training on Monday, but did go to their training. Sarri, after having observed rest over the weekend, was at the JTC Continassa, that's Juventus training center today, where he coordinated the work of his staff. Read a statement from Juventus.
Okay. So the Italian Serie A starts this weekend, and they will not have their coach available. He actually thought he just had a flu,
Wow.
and when the flu refused to go, he now went for further tests and found out that this is not ordinary flu.
Wow.
It is pneumonia. That's another level of sickness. So I can almost say, without even the club telling me, that he may not make it to the Juventus Parma game. Ideally, he shouldn't. He should just try to heal and come back. Don't try to do strongman. But Italians can be a bit like Africans. I'm telling you, they will brave it and go to work.
See, I have been a victim. I've suffered pneumonia, and I can understand how it is easy to miss. But I can also assure you that the process of getting to recovering from that thing, it is not child's play, right? It is not. everything is
really
painful.
deadly.
The medication,
Yeah.
just the injections, the pain that you suffer from the injections you have to take
Mm.
to treat it, it's painful. I had pain. I could for a period about 2 months, because I was being injected intravenously.
Yeah.
I couldn't move my. It was painful. So
Mm.
it's not a question of him even trying to make it to work. If he has sense and if he needs to receive sense, he should just listen to his
That's
doctors
the key
and
word.
stay at home.
Yeah.
That's the key word.
He
If
doesn't have
has
to be there
sense
for you,
or
Ventus
key
Farmer.
phrase.
He doesn't have to
Mm.
be.
You got useful therapy, actually very important for that. Egypt and Liverpool star Mohamed Salah has reignited heated views about a sexual harassment scandal involving his national teammate Amir Wada in a CNN interview that was aired on Monday. After Salah sent controversial tweets that demanded the disgraced Wada be given a second chance during this year's Africa Cup of Nations held in Egypt, Salah directly addressed his revised stance. And this is what he told CNN. What I meant to say is that sexual harassment happened before and is happening now. He has to get treatment or rehabilitation just to make sure that it's not going to happen again. One Egyptian tweeted, Salah is lying. He did have a direct role in bringing Wada back to the team. He supported him with the tweets. Salah reiterated in an interview that my position, and this is a quote, my position is still the same. The people misunderstand what I am saying. And the outcry on social media is still raging.
Okay, so here is what it is. Salah said one thing when he was in Africa. He has gone to Europe. He had to remodify what he said, so it doesn't look like he supports people that are involved in sexual harassment, and is that simple. Unfortunately for him, social media never forgets. So there was an incident. A teammate of his was suspended, was taken out of the team. Salah and the rest of his teammates tweeted that he should be given a second chance. Salah particularly, his own tweet was that he should be given a second chance. He should come back. People make mistakes. And I'm sure that behind the scenes, okay, let me not say I'm sure, but even behind the scenes, he could have spoken. And you can imagine a player like Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah is not a small boy anymore. Like, this is a man that took a whole country to court because they put his picture on the team airline. And he's a member of the team. So he carries that, he pulls that kind of weight. So if he says, I think we should give him a second chance, even thinking as he's eating his cereal, they will consider it because it is Mo Salah. Just imagine if Messi said, I don't think Marcos Rojo should play for Argentina. Marcos Rojo will not see any Argentinian stadium in his life again. It's that simple.
And just imagine how serious
But so he did have a direct hand in bringing his teammates. So eventually, the Egyptian FA recalled the player during the AFCON and all. So he did have a direct hand. But now he has gone to Europe. If he goes there and say, I told them to give him a second chance, do you know the outrage in Europe where we are trying to kill this thing, where the fight is getting stronger every day, where they're catching people that were sexual predators in the 80s and punishing them in 2019. Do you understand what it will do to him? So he now, I don't want to say it's lie, but he modified it. He PR'd this something. Unfortunately, there are many Egyptian women that are looking at it. This boy lying, no, I can show you tweets. Before he would have done that, maybe he deleted those tweets because somebody will screen grab it and show you. So he did have a hand in it. But what it is I've come to learn when it comes to, again, this is a societal issue. About sexual harassment. What is sexual harassment? To what extent are you really sexually harassing people? Even we women harassment too without knowing that we're we touching their chest.
Thank you very much. That speaks to my life. Olisa says, Tega, what is with the eye twitching?
From YouTube. But your analysis is still on point.
Thank you, Roman, for joining us. Roman said he's been a long-time fan and listener of this program, but his first time contributing. You guys are tremendously amazing, and God bless you endlessly for making my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings wonderful. Thank you, Roman.
Thank you so much, Roman. Last one from Ketu Saribol should have just retired. He can't be smoking and shouting on the pitch. He's over 60. We don't want to do RIP to a coach while he's still on the field.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Tega and Brutalistics. The fans have said it all already, so I don't need to give you any more accolades. But please follow them at Tega Supreme on Twitter and at Brutalistics on Twitter, and find out the work that Tega is doing with ladies in sports at LIS International. I'm smiling because Tega
And go
says
take that picture, please.
whatever.
I was just going to say that. So,
For posterity.
Tega says that she doesn't want just your accolades. She needs food. All right, and we're out.
It's breakfast time.
It wasn't for everybody, it was for you. I said, you
Oh,
said it
really?
was for
Oh, I
you.
think you're telling the people.
No, it was for you.